Hello YouTube makeup lovers. So today I wanted to do a video for you guys that I thought I would never do, which is a video on drugstore concealers that I love. So I'm pretty much going to talk to you about two drugstore concealers that I have recently found and that I love. I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of them, which one I do like more, because there is one that I like more than the other. But they're both very good concealers, but of course there's always a nice little battle between one and the other. So this is the battle of the concealers, and the first one is the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and the second one is the Revlon Photoready Concealer. So I'm going to talk a lot about these two products. The reason I say that I thought I would never do a video like this is because I have had the worst luck finding a drugstore concealer that works for me. I have tried a gazillion of them from these brands as well. I'll say that I have tried about 10 to 12 drugstore concealers that have failed to meet my concealer expectations. I am extremely picky when it comes to concealer. That is a very important step for me in my makeup routine. My go-to concealer of all time is the Peau concealer in the shade Beige. To me, this is the concealer master that has ever existed, and I have never tried something that was as good as this. But I did want to find something that was a little bit less expensive in the drugstore, maybe for every day, and I just have had such bad luck. Out of all the concealers that I tried back in the day, I tried one that I finally fell in love with, and of course they went ahead and discontinued the concealer, and that was the CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless Concealer. So this was a concealer that I completely was in love with from the drugstore. I was like, I finally find a concealer that I love from the drugstore, and of course it had to get discontinued. So I kind of gave up on the drugstore concealer until I did a little bit more research, and I thought, I'm gonna buy these two concealers, test them out, see how I like them, and I ended up loving them both, one more than the other, but both great concealers, and I can't wait to tell you a little bit more about them with some more details. So first I want to start off with giving you just a few little details for each concealer. I'm going to start off with the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer. I use shade 10, which is light. They have 6 shades in this concealer, and it's about $6.99. I got mine at Ulta, and that's how much it cost. But I know that sometimes the drugstores and Ulta, they do vary. Sometimes one will be an extra dollar than the other one or something like that. But the good thing is that at both places, you can always take advantage of the buy one, get one half off deals that these drugstore products have very, very often. And I know I always mention that in any video where I mention a drugstore product, but I just think it's so important to mention. And this is shade light, which is number 10. That's what shade light looks like. I had initially bought the shade that was one shade darker than this one, and it ended up being a little bit too dark. Why I did that was because with my experience with drugstore concealers, the shades always run too light. I usually am the shade that is normally called light. Pretty much it's like they have a fair, then they have a light, and when that happens, pretty much when I get the light, it works for me. And in all the other concealers that I've bought that I've hated, the light shade was always just way too light, and you sometimes don't want to go that light, because if you go too light on your concealer, it could even accentuate your dark circles. Sometimes what I'll do, if you want a brightening effect, then I first conceal and then I add a little bit more of a brightener to the eye, but it's not good to get a shade that is just way too light. But in this case, for the Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, the light shade just worked perfectly for me. So this Fit Me Concealer comes with a little wand like this, kind of like you would see in a lip gloss. And it is, it's not that creamy, but it's also not too liquidy of a consistency, but it's definitely not a cream product. It is definitely a little bit more liquid. And what I found with this one was that throughout the day, I did have to kind of blend it in a little bit, because since it's such a thin liquid, it does go a little bit into your fine lines. So that's a con with this product, that I did have to kind of blend it a little bit more, just because, and throughout the day you have to blend it, because it did go into the fine lines, but it did conceal very well. Now for the Revlon concealer, this is the Revlon Photoready concealer. I use the shade Light Medium. And on the Revlon website, I see 6 shades, but on the Ulta website, I only see 5 shades. This concealer, I felt it was about $10 when I bought it, but I just checked on the Ulta website and it's on sale from $10.49 to $7.49. But I actually got this at the drugstore, so I can't remember exactly what it cost. Again, sometimes those prices vary, but you can also maybe take advantage of those Revlon sales in case you want to buy another Revlon product and you get this at half off or vice versa. But this product, I kind of gravitated a little bit towards it because of the type of formula it was. It's kind of like a lipstick, which is very similar to my Peau. Is the same idea, and that is kind of why I was like, I really need to try this because I love the consistency of the Peau, and I thought I would like this one too. This is the light medium shade. They have a fair and a light before it. I ended up just getting the light medium. I don't know why I didn't get the light in this one, but I just got the light medium because I was scared that the light would be too light. And this one worked well, but maybe the light might work too. I haven't really even looked at it. The fair would definitely be way too light. But this is a light medium. I really love the way it glided onto my skin. This one did not crease as much and go into the fine lines as the Fit Me did. I didn't have to blend it in as much throughout the day and just kind of like, you know, just get everything out of the lines and just kind of like spread it out a little bit more. So this one worked really, really well. When I tried both of these concealers, I did do my full concealer routine. So it's not like I just applied it straight to my face. I did it as I would do any concealer, where I moisturize first. This is my Creme Ancienne from Fresh, which I love. And then I applied my Eve Pro Salmon concealer in the shade Tan. And then I went ahead and applied the different concealers. And I set them at the end with my ambient lighting powder in diffused light, or with any setting powder that I use that day. So I did do the full routine when I tested them out, and of course that always makes the concealer look so much better. And then what I said earlier about doing something more of a brightening effect, I love to do that with the MAC Prep and Prime. This is in the one Radiant Rose. After I do my full concealer, before I set it with powder, I just add a little drop of, or a little, not a drop, but it comes in a little brush like this. You kind of just squish it out. I just put like 1 or 2 dots here and 1 or 2 dots there, blend it in, and then I go ahead and set it, and then it just gives it a little bit more of a brightening touch. I don't like to be so bright with too light of a concealer. I rather add a little bit of brightener at the end just to give it that bright look, but you're already fully concealed in the under eye area. So like I said, I'm very picky when it comes to concealer. That is like the one step in makeup that I cannot live without. It's a thing that I do every single day, no matter what. And I was just very happy to find 2 concealers that they both worked for me. I did feel that the Revlon Photoready one gave me a little bit more coverage, and it did last a lot better throughout the day. They did not get cakey. The only complaint that I had with the Fit Me was that it did go into the fine lines. The Photoready from Revlon also went into the fine lines, but not that much. It was barely noticeable. So enough rambling. Out of the 2 products, my favorite, of course, I'm sure you can tell by now, is the Revlon Photoready Concealer. I really love it. I love the formula. This formula is a formula that just works really, really great for me. It goes on nice and creamy. I do apply it with a brush like this, whereas this one I just apply it straight out of the bottle and just kind of dab little dots onto my under eye area. So this one, I did prefer this one a little bit more because it did remind me also of the Peau, but it just went on nicer. It glided on a lot better. It felt smoother. It lasted longer, and it didn't sink into the fine lines as the Fit Me did. But the Fit Me was also very good, and I was pleasantly surprised. I feel like this is a concealer that I will carry in my purse, and if I ever need to touch up, this is a great product that I could probably just touch up with. So I feel like this is the one that I'm going to be putting in my purse. Also, for those days that maybe I did not put on much makeup and I just want to apply a little bit of concealer, I think this product will be really good and very quick just to apply it, dab it with my finger, and I'm good to go. I always like to have a concealer in my makeup bag, in my purse, and it's usually a formula that is a little bit more liquid. For example, a concealer like this, I probably wouldn't put it inside my makeup bag because for this type of product and this type of consistency, it's more creamy, I definitely need to do my full routine and make sure that I'm nicely moisturized, because a formula like this cakes up much faster than a formula like this. So I don't know if I explained myself properly, but this is definitely one that you can apply really quickly on the go. Just dab it and then just kind of pat it with your ring finger and you're good to go. So that's kind of how I'm going to use them. This is the one that I'll use throughout the day, leave it on my vanity, and then the Maybelline Fit Me is the one that I will put in my purse. But both excellent concealers. I'm so happy that now I can tell you guys that I have found a drugstore concealer that I really like, because that's something that I always mention, that it's just so hard for me to find a good drugstore concealer, and now I have found two. So I really hope that this video helped you guys out. I have been rambling already for a long time, so I think it's time for me to go. But I just hope that it helped you out if you were in the hunt for a good concealer, an inexpensive concealer from the drugstore, and that you can use some of these little tips and tricks. And as always, I just want to say thank you so much for watching Be Lounge Makeup. Bye!